today and interview you. Welcome to the North Florida Luxury Mastermind. We are now doing a podcast format, and you're the very first guest for this off of just Zoom, and I'm super excited.
Thank you.
So, for those of you that, and I find this hard to believe, that might be unaware of where you serve, can you give them a little bit of background about where you serve and who you are and how you got started in real estate?
Oh, okay. That's a lot. So I'll put it in chunks.
Okay.
So I started in 2005. I work in the Tampa Bay area, originally living in Tampa, moved to St. Petersburg, know them both very well. But I originally started on site for a developer, and it was Signature Place in downtown St. Pete. So that actually was my kickoff for getting into the luxury market in condominiums. So from there, I ended up getting into the general market. The market was very interesting back in 2007, right? So getting into the general market. So we had some challenges there, and then went back to another development in 2015, which is One St. Petersburg. So I grew my business in condominium sales. And then once one closed, I grew a team. So I grew that team here at Keller Williams. And that was really exciting because Keller Williams has a great platform for growing teams. So I was able to get a team, be successful in the area, and then transition to single family homes as well. So we cover mainly condominiums and waterfront homes, or more on the luxury. So we average about that 1.3, $1.4 million home.
Wait, hold on. Repeat that for everyone listening. Average 1.3, 1.4.
Yes.
So I think, and this is often a common misconception, is especially within Keller Williams, is when you have a team, you're doing a lot of units and maybe not quite the highest average price point. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on, because you are not only selling over 100 million with your team, but it's not a team of 30 people and you're doing a high average price point. So what is your ideal client for you? What does that look like?
The ideal client is someone who's not looking for somebody to just open up the doors. There's plenty of people who can do that for them. Somebody who has the interest in creating a strategy to sell their property, how to position it well. There's also a story involved, right? So
Right.
it's about why they're selling, something about the home. So when somebody comes in to see any of our properties, I don't put on lock boxes. I don't think that's appropriate. And I think it's because the story gets lost. So if another agent's showing a property, they're not going to know why it's special, or why is its location different than another location. So my team also has great knowledge, so they can make those comparisons between all properties.
I love that. And you talked a lot about the experience there too. So not only is it the lifestyle and the uniqueness of the specific story of the client and the property, what is the experience like working with Jennifer Thayer and your group? Because it's not a typical transaction, right? Like you said, let's put a lockbox on and run some comps. I mean, you're really sometimes looking for the most relevant properties because there are no comps in your price points. And you're a market authority. So I think the knowledge everyone knows your brand, but what is it like, that personalized experience that maybe someone out there might not know unless they've worked with you?
Right. So what we do a lot is the matchmaking, right? We are, because of our brand and because we're known, we get a lot of calls and we save that information. So we always make sure that we know, even if somebody is not ready at this time, that we have a database of what the potential is. So the second that we learn about a property that's being sold or that has an interest in selling, we already know our top couple of people, clients that would be interested in making the purchase. Right. So what we do is we position. So for instance, this morning before I got here, I had a client call. She said, I'm looking for a specific type of property. I'm going to need to sell my property first, which is a townhome.
Okay.
Perfect. I have a townhome buyer that fits within that criteria. So I'm going to call them first once we get that listing. I understand the profile of what she's looking for, right? She has all the right criteria for another client of mine who wants to list their property because they want to purchase something a little bit different. And I've got a listing appointment on Thursday that matches that criteria. So what I do is it's kind of a shell game, right? It's that matching game. And
Right.
you want to make sure you're constantly matching people to the properties with what matches their criteria and not just any property. So they're very specific. They're very discerning on what they're looking for these days.
So what I'm hearing is you're so relationship based, and sometimes we hear about teams that buy a lot of leads, and that's great, right? If that's your business model. But what I've admired and observed about your organization, because you've truly built a business. I
Right.
mean, it's an amazing, incredible organization, is the systems and the tools, but you're also not just consistent with that to scale. There's the relationship. You are so concerned about your clients' needs and their wants to such an intimate level that you often become friends with them.
Right.
I've had phone conversations like, oh, I was just out to dinner with some friends, and you kind of use the word clients, but you're like, well, actually, they're friends, right? Because you have helped them move that real estate portfolio forward in whichever way that fits their lifestyle.
Right.
So, having said that, what kind of systems and tools does it take to run, I mean, $100 million team that's so relationship based?
That's a lot. When it comes down to the relationships, what's really important is truly understanding. It's not just about a criteria, as I was mentioning, because that's
Yeah.
that's only part of it. It's really understanding what their deeper needs are. Why are they moving? Why are they looking to either sell or purchase? So once you get to understand them, what their needs are, then it helps to create a bond. Right? There's
Hmm.
a lot of things that people have in common with each other.
Yeah.
And I think that that's important, that once you start to create that bond and they start to get to know you, your business, they'll start to refer you out. Then their friends become your friends and your clients. So it seems like it's this beautiful web of relationships, and everything is based on relationships. And yes, every
Mhm.
night I am out. I think it's important to go to dinners to not only celebrate whether or not they purchased or sold, but to celebrate birthdays or to celebrate holidays with them or
Mhm.
recognize something special. Like I have a girlfriend whose son is graduating from law school, and
Yeah.
that's something to celebrate
That's
the
a
next
big
time she's in town.
milestone.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. I love that. And it's so interesting because Brady Sandall, who's the director of growth, as you know, with Keller Williams, we were talking about, surprise and delight and doing all these defining moments. And they were just, gifts of more gesture. Like, right, sometimes in this price point, they can buy anything. And what we've noticed is we used to do all these surprise and delights. And now, interestingly enough, it's the time you spend with them. And that's exactly what I'm hearing from you
It
is
is.
they value the time with Jennifer Thayer, right? And
Right,
having this lifestyle that you've described to them that they're going to have in downtown St. Pete or Tampa Bay area, wherever they are going to move to, even
right,
if it's just from one neighbor to the other, you're now experiencing that with them as a true market authority.
right.
So, one thing that Brady says all the time that kind of reminds me of you and your organization that you've built is your brand is what someone says when you're not in the room. And I remember hearing your name before I had any reason to be affiliated with the Keller Williams and KW St. Pete.
Right.
And now being an owner with some great agents and my brother is a business partner, it's so wonderful to welcome you back.
Thank
And
you.
so, what has that been like? Obviously, KW was your home for a long time and now you're back. What are you excited about?
I'm excited that my brand aligns with Keller Williams Luxury. There is such a synergy between the two. Keller Williams not only grew my business
Mhm.
to where it is right now, but continues to support it. So it's easy to run fast and hard, to build a
Mhm.
team. So I'm always looking for kind of having the right talent in my pipeline.
Right.
Right. So I think that that's really important. I have a spectacular team right now. I think everybody is wonderful.
Yeah.
So I'm super blessed to have them. And I think a lot of it is to have like-minded people. So I know I glazed over the fact we talked about relationships because that's important, but behind the relationships, there has to be some type of a format, right? You have to
Sure.
have things in place so that it's not just going out, it's really making sure that you're supporting them, right? I had a wonderful, friendly conversation with dear friends of mine last night, and then, of course, the conversation turned real quick, and they
Yeah.
said, "Okay, so what about selling our place?" So we got right back into it, and we have further discussions going on today with a potential buyer. So again, having the relationship, but keeping focused on the goal as well, because you don't want any fractures to happen. And
Yeah.
fractures happen when there's a lack of communication. So communication is key.
I love that. And I feel like you have such high level communication
Mhm.
and sometimes just like really speed, right? Responding to them, even if it's something
Yeah.
you're going to do your research on and ensure that you analyze and make sure the evaluation's properly done. you're still in high level communication to let them know, I hear you, I understand your needs, and we are going to work for you immediately to make sure that you're set up for success when you
Right.
are ready. And you're just, I think it's that preparedness that I see.
Yeah.
And I think if you don't have a strong organizational back end, right, you have very strong operational people on the back end, which understand how important that intimate relationship is in the high level communication.
Yep. So I definitely want to give credit to my team. So not only does each one of my agents go ahead and communicate with our clients and updates them on everything that's going on, but I also have JJ Jones. She's my COO.
Yeah.
And today she shot me over two different texts this morning and said, and they were both from clients thanking her for all of her support. So not only do they get communications with us, but JJ's in the background. So I think team is critical. She's in the background doing all of the touches,
Yeah.
making sure that they know that she's there to hold their hand, anything, because I think sometimes clients don't want to feel like they're taking up your time.
Hmm.
Right. And JJ really provides that extra support where she says, look, I'm always here. Just text me, call me at any time.
Yeah.
And so they do.
Yeah, I think sometimes from their perspective, it's like, oh, you are busy, right? But you are very intentional. But sometimes, in real estate, they view us being in so many different places
Yeah.
and on the road. So having what I hear on the back end is that personalized touch and proactiveness. It sounds like before they even have a need, JJ's anticipating it based on experiences,
Yep.
right? So it's that consistency.
It's the consistency and it's the format. Right.
Yeah,
So we've built that into our system.
I love it.
So I think systems are really important. I come from a corporate background. JJ's been doing this a lot longer than I have.
Yeah.
We have Morgan Sherman, who's a real estate attorney by trade, right? She was working in New York. So we have these type of people aligned. I've got other team members that do a phenomenal job as well. So
Hmm.
I don't want to miss on saying I've got Alana Pinkerton and Debbie Heston on the team. I've got Debbie Mancuso, who
Wow.
is my um, executive assistant, but she's also getting her marketing master's degree right now.
Wow.
So we've got great people lined up.
That'll be another big milestone to celebrate, which I know
It is.
you'll celebrate that success. So, let's shift gears a little bit to the area you serve, and what are you seeing as far as neighborhoods? What are some hot, price points or areas that you see are going through a transition or something exciting that the public or your clients might want to know?
Right. I do a lot of work in downtown, so there's a lot of exciting things happening there
Right.
from the Tropicana Field, right?
Hmm.
So I know that there are bids going on there to see what happens. There are other buildings, both commercially and with condominiums going up that I
Hmm.
think is fantastic. So the Waldorf being one of them. I
Very
know that,
exciting.
yes, yes. So that's going to be a phenomenal project to bring
Yeah.
that extra luxury edge that we don't currently have. We have luxury products,
Right.
but this just really brings it up a level. And then, of course, Coulter has announced that they're doing another project at the Hilton. So I think that's going to be spectacular, but they're going to kick off their, I think it's called Feet First project, which is the one right next to Sundial.
Got
So what I'm seeing in the immediate area, as we are here in downtown St. Petersburg,
it.
there's a lot of movement there. There are single family home builders that are doing a phenomenal job in the surrounding areas
Right.
because we did have some weather affect us
Yeah.
a few years back. The single family homes are being built bigger and better than ever. So
Hmm.
we're seeing a lot of things there. Buyers are more discerning. So they're looking for either the waterfronts,
Right.
looking for luxury, or a home that's walkable.
Okay.
Right. And what we're seeing is a lot of the neighborhoods around downtown are walkable to downtown. And of course, the beaches have their own beautiful charm there as well. So we do a lot in the beaches too.
So what I hear with the buyer behavioral profile right now is they are possibly looking for new construction with high quality, but still walkable to downtown. Or you have that condo buyer that is looking for a luxury experience, maybe some amenities that are rich in the community of that building.
Correct.
Love
Correct. We find because we deal with, we're talking about downtown proper,
it. Hmm.
we're looking at more snowbirds.
Hmm.
And so those are people who are looking for a place to golf, a place to go boating.
Right.
So then we have, of course, all of our lists on where the best golfing is,
Yeah.
where to go boating, what to do. So I think it's important that, and I can't stress this enough,
Hmm.
keep lists, know
Right.
what's going on in the neighborhood, know what the events are, know how to direct your client, because we provide all of that that back end support. I mean, I even recommend my dentist all the time. I think he's fantastic.
I just met my one of my good friends who is moved here from Vail, and he's like, "Do you know an eye doctor?" I'm like, "Oh, my neighbor." So I'm sending my neighbor's
Yeah.
information, and you kind of forget what kind of market authority you are in your area
Yeah.
until people start asking you, and you're like, "Oh, yes, of course I have that for you." You know, so I feel like you're such a resource for people in this
Yeah.
area. I'm learning so much just being here, hosting with you. I feel like I need a
Thank you.
notepad. But what do you think is next for this area? What do you think is going to happen that would be amazing for someone to know? Someone maybe from a feeder market that might be listening in.
Okay, I think that Tropicana Field is going to be pretty huge for us. So that's 87 acres.
Yeah,
Obviously, there are
it's a
things
lot of
still going. It's
land.
a lot of land.
Wow.
Now, there are different proposals out there. Some that I really enjoy. Some, I'm wondering how they're going to use the property in particular. I think it's important that we don't have, too much growth. I
Hmm.
think it needs to be much more specific. I know that the city is working on that.
Yeah.
And I hope they work on it a lot stronger because we're dealing with things like infrastructure.
Right.
But when it comes to growth here in St. Petersburg, I always say that we are a destination location,
Right.
and it's because if you're going through Florida,
Hmm.
you're going to take I-95 or I-75. Those are your two main
Right.
corridors.
Main arteries. Yeah.
So in order to get to St. Pete, you're coming off and going to 75, which is an artery off of 75. So people coming here are specific, right? They're coming
Right.
here to be in St. Petersburg. And I think that that's a special thing because we're a peninsula.
Yeah.
So we don't have the traffic that you would have in other areas.
Hmm.
We have the walkability. We've got a sun runner that gets us from downtown to the beaches, so
I love
people
that.
don't have to,
I love that.
drive. And of course, then we have a ferry that goes from downtown to Tampa during season.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of things that happen here. There are art events. Who knows what the growth is going to look like on Beach Drive as
Hmm.
well. So as Beach Drive dives into the Rowdy Soccer Stadium, there's potential growth there as well.
Sure.
But of course, it's parkland. So we're going to look at things like, could it be an amphitheater there? Could they
Ooh.
enhance the soccer field? So those are the two proposals that I've seen out there.
I love that you're so thoughtful and forward thinking on obviously the development
Mm.
is necessary in some cases, right? Like we have only so much land and there's
Right.
people that want to live here. But what I love is that you're thinking so far in advance, like we don't want to create infrastructure problems
Yeah.
or traffic issues. You want to keep the walkability, the lifestyles, why people came here in the first
Yep.
place. And also what I think I hear you saying is really protecting the architectural integrity and the charm and the things that people love about the current environment.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
The what we have right now is extremely charming. It feels like a European town.
Yes.
You can get around. We've got quirky little coffee shops that I love. Black Crow is one of my absolute favorites. There's Kawa. There is Craft Cafe
Hmm.
for gluten free.
What's the one with all the books? That's one I went to. I can't think of the
Book and
name of it
Bottle.
right now. It might be. It might be.
That's a great one.
Okay.
There's a lot of mom and pop shops, so I really love to keep it local.
Very family owned.
It is. We've got tremendous restaurants. I have a restaurant list that I provide to people who move to town because they really want to know, what can I do? Where can I go?
Hmm.
And it's important because what's going to sell St. Petersburg over other locations
Sure.
is all of that. You're going to say, look, not only do we have easy access to the airports, we have restaurants, we have galleries, we've got Second Saturday Art Walk,
Yeah.
we have First Friday, which is the first Friday of every month.
Month.
We've got an event in downtown on First Street on the first block that was developed in downtown.
So cool. I
Yeah.
love that.
So little things like that help to create this beautiful neighborhood of ours. And, I get excited about that. We have a trolley that goes all the way around to all of the landmarks in downtown. And that too creates, kind of this niche that goes to, the Dali Museum and the Mahaffey Theater. It gets you to the Fine Arts Museum. We've got
Mhm.
galleries, we have shopping. So as
A
that
lot of art
continues,
and culture is what I
absolutely.
see. And obviously I grew up in Sarasota, so we have a lot of that too. And I guess I was unaware of how much art and culture you have. I
Yes.
mean, I love the Dolly Museum. I love all the small art studios as well. And I feel like the local artists have a lot of support, which I really love.
They do. And we have Shine St. Pete, which is our mural event every year. It's done during the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's exciting. I think it's actually September, sometime in September.
Okay.
They spend the entire month creating murals.
Wow.
And people get to watch it. There's an event at the end of it celebrating these artists. But the beauty of it has transformed our city, right? We've got people who love to bike. So we have complete streets, which are bike lanes connecting neighborhoods to the downtown.
Yeah.
So you've got these kind of things happening that are really creating this amazing city.
So you're back at Keller Williams.
Yes.
Love it. Very involved now, engaged with Keller Williams Luxury, KW Luxury. What's next for you? I mean, you've accomplished so much. So, I mean, this is obviously a big move, and you're thriving.
It
I
is.
mean, nothing's going to stop you. You're so resilient. I admire that about you. Now, what's next for you? Anything you can tease us with?
You know, what's next? Probably I want to continue to grow my team.
Okay.
I find such excellence here. I find the need to help create structure. I'd love to do speaking, right? So
Oh,
if there's
I
any
love that.
opportunity there. And I'm always happy to be a resource. You know, it's funny, I was told recently that somebody said, as an agent, they said, I was told you're intimidating. And I said, that's funny. I don't see myself as intimidating. I
Yeah.
think people sometimes get intimidated because we are the brand in downtown.
Hmm.
But I think it's more about, I think we're really approachable. I think we have a good system. I think we're relatable.
Hmm.
And I'd really like to help with a real estate community, kind of create that sense of community and support. So
Oh, I
I'm
love
all
that.
for it. Yeah.
I love that. I didn't know you were interested in speaking.
Yes.
So we'll chat about that later.
Great.
I love that you're always consistently looking for high level talent.
Mhm.
I think that is a great message. I hope people are hearing that are maybe even, I mean, you have people from other backgrounds that you wouldn't ordinarily think are going to get into real estate and thriving. So for anyone out there, right, looking to do something different,
Yep.
but has a really great background, even as a second career. I mean, this is right a
True.
second career for a lot of people.
I think what it takes is somebody who's dedicated, somebody who listens. And it runs the gamut on the type of background you have,
Mm-hmm.
but somebody who is dedicated. And I must say, this is not for the faint of heart. This is a 7-day-a-week job. We get exhausted doing this,
Yeah.
but we love what we do. And
Yeah.
the best thing is when a deal is successful, right? So that's what we aim for every single time. We provide white glove service and as much support as we possibly can, even beyond the sale.
We are so passionate about it, and we're so excited at KW Luxury. And boy, are we going to go take more market share with your team. I'm super excited
Same
about
here.
that. I mean, I don't know if you know this. I was pulling the stats the other day, and within Stellar MLS, which is the largest at this
Mhm.
point, 12.4 billion is what we sell, and our closest competitor is pretty couple billion, 3.5
Yeah.
billion, I think, behind. So we are just really on this momentum, and we're excited to be on the journey with you. KW Luxury does actually, in fact, sell the most homes above a million in US and Canada, over 22,000, say that three
Wow.
times,
I know.
transactions, over almost 85 billion. And would you be surprised to know that 32% of them are referrals within the ecosystem?
I am not. That is why
Yeah.
I'm here.
So a lot of those clients in our feeder markets, as you said, this is a destination, kind of a resort and second home location in that condo market, a lot of what you serve. And so when they're coming here, whether they're relocating full time, second home, third home, we don't really know at the time. The feeder markets within that KW luxury ecosystem,
Yeah.
it's so powerful to be able to know that like our transactions really rely on those relationships. So we're welcome back. We're super
Thank you.
excited. Now we're going to open it up to a few questions if you're open to it, because we have
That'd be
some
great.
audience listening in.
Okay.
All right. So, Angela, do we have questions in the chat? Nothing yet. Okay.
Nothing yet.
Okay. Well, we'll
Wonderful.
give it a minute or two. This is your time, audience, to learn as much as you can. I'm going to have to go back and watch the recording so I can take notes. Any great questions for any luxury agents out there? Okay, good. I love it.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be back. It feels like home, right?
I
This
love
is the
that.
best
That
place
makes
for me and my
heart so
team.
warm.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things while we're waiting to see if anyone has any inquisitive questions is Where do people find you? I think your website is great because that's easy.
Okay, so I have a funny story while we're waiting for
Okay.
questions.
Good.
I got a call yesterday. Somebody wants me to come and do a listing presentation, and I said, "Oh, that's fantastic." I said, "Oh, you must have received my magazine." So I assume that because I have a magazine out
Yeah.
there, that's how he found me.
Right.
And he laughed and he said, "I actually haven't seen your magazine." And he said, "In fact, I went on to ChatGPT
Oh, I love
and your
it.
name popped up." And I said, "Wow, ChatGPT is doing better than my magazine." So, I had quit doing mailers, certain mailers,
Yeah.
but I do the magazine. But it's always nice to see that I do have a nice online presence. So I do have a website,
Perfect.
JenniferThayerGroup.com.
Easy. Love
And
it.
so that is easy. Of course, you can find me through ChatGPT now and online.
I love it. So any social media platforms they can find you, and clearly someone must have typed in top, real estate group or agent in St. Pete,
Yep.
Tampa Bay area, and your name popped up.
Yep.
So
So you
I
can
love
find me
that.
on Facebook. You can find me on any of them. I actually have somebody working on that right now. I'm going to admit this is terrible because I'm in my 50s, that I don't do as much on social media, but we are building our social media platforms.
I love it. Well,
Yeah.
that'll be exciting to watch that happen.
Yep.
And of course, who knows where else you're going to be and what platforms come out with all the AI and technology changing.
Yeah.
I love that you're at least saying, you know what, we're working on that. And that's something we're going to grow, because I'm the same way. I'm learning all this AI. We did get our first lead on our team in Sarasota from AI. And because I
Congrats.
had never heard, normally it's from your sphere, right? So I
Right.
thought, oh, who referred you? And she responded back, it was AI.
Right.
And I said, oh, so AI is we have to put that into our resources as something that people are going to find us on.
Yep.
Very, very
Yep. And
interesting.
I think it's we won a lot of awards in the past. We've received accolades. Keller Williams has posted about us in the past as well.
Yes.
We were here for 7 years.
Yeah.
And I think it was about 7.5 years. So coming back again, pulling out all the old trophies.
Well, there'll
So
be
it makes
more
it great.
press coming this week, so stay tuned.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
again, thank you so much. We know running a 100 million plus organization is a lot for you to take time out of your day to share all your knowledge and expertise. So we really appreciate you, and welcome home.
Thank you. I love it.
We do have a question.
Okay,
Okay. What do we got?
Bunny wants to know, can you talk about persistence?
That is the one question. I figured somebody would ask that one. Over the years, we've created formats, and it's going to be from the second you talk to somebody, and we line up what's important. We formatted each individual segment from pre-listing to listing
Yeah.
to all the steps involved, right? Dates and deadlines are important. So we listed out, and we've created those into emails. So every time that we get to a certain milestone, a new
Right.
letter goes out.
Oh, I love it.
And so that's important. It's important because you don't want to miss something, and you definitely don't want to let your client miss something. So we make sure that nothing falls through the cracks.
No surprises.
No surprises. Even if we have to email them 2 or 3 times, we want to make sure that they're aware of what's happening in the process, and those process guidelines are the best.
Yeah.
And this one is, who inspires you?
Oh, what a great question.
Oh gosh.
That's a big one.
That is a really big one. It's a lot of the thought leaders. So I do listen to people like Simon Sinek, Brene Brown. I used to follow Zig Ziglar for talking about the big guys. What I think is important is remaining grounded. My dad inspires me because my dad has a don't quit. My dad used to say, if you want it done right, do it yourself. And so I was always having to do it, just get it done. So admittedly, this is my 35th job since graduating college, which is kind of a fun story. Most people think, how is that even possible?
And I know when you told me that a long time ago, I had to take a second to even process that.
Yeah, it's sales driven. And so to say that I've been here for so long really, really means something, right? Sure. Because I've had 6 months stints here and there, and people would say, hey, I've got a great job for you. And I would of course agree to take it. But what that really shows is I can pivot. and I
Mhm.
can be put in certain situations. And again, with my dad's support, saying, you can do it, do whatever you want, do it yourself.
Mhm.
I've been able to transition in all sorts of sales roles.
Yeah, I feel like you have the knowledge, the
Mhm.
drive. And someone once said this, and I say it all the time, so forgive me. They hear this on Zoom almost every month, but I always say that consistency will eat motivation for lunch
Yes.
because your motivation goes up and down. Sometimes you're just like, I don't feel like doing it. But if you're consistent and you just do it, right? Just get through it and
Eat the frog.
yeah,
So
eat,
I
eat
loved
the
all
frog.
those sales things.
Eat
I
the
always
frog.
tell people who feel like they need to do self-help books, switch to sales books, because
Yeah.
sales teaches you how to relate to people,
Right.
right? It teaches you how to make those steps, how to accomplish something, and you get much more out of accomplishing something than worrying, right? So eat the frog is first thing in the morning. It's something you have to do. You keep putting off because you don't want to. You struggle through it. But if you eat it first thing in the morning, get
And
it
that's your
done.
highest energy. And I know you wake up early. So we were talking about that before we got started. So
Yeah.
what's maybe we'll end on this unless we have more questions. What does your typical day look like? I mean, I know there's a lot of variables. It's real estate and there's people and your schedule can change, but you do get up early. I
I
mean,
do.
you're an early riser. So how does your day start?
So I wake up between 4 and 5.
Okay.
Immediately go to coffee and emails. So I will read emails while enjoying coffee. That way I can segment my day.
Okay.
My team knows that I'm usually in bed by 9 o'clock.
Yep.
So I'm exhausted by that time. So any emails that they would have sent after the fact, they know that I'll have a response for them in the morning.
Sure.
And really, the rest of the day is any scheduled appointments we have, and then it's managing clients. By the end of the day, I would have planned something to do with a client or friend.
Oh, I love that. So every day you make a plan
I try
to
connect with
so
someone.
you're so intentional with that. I
Yes,
love that. That just inspired me. I love that every day.
I try every day. Sometimes I just have downtime, and I will admit to this as well. My husband is in sales as well. He's lovely. So when I get tired, he gives me 2 nights per week
Yeah.
that he'll do something with me, so that we'll
Ah.
go to dinners and stuff. And that also helps because, everybody loves it when you have a couple together and they're a couple and you get to
Yeah.
talk beyond real estate. So any
Yeah.
outing, I don't talk about real estate, or I try my best not to
I hope everyone's hearing that.
monopolize. Yeah, I think it's important to get to know somebody
Mhm.
that goes beyond real estate.
Sure.
That's where the friendship happens. It's not
Yeah.
talking about real estate because, you can get stopped on the streets with that and never see that person again. And that's
Ever.
not a
Yeah.
relationship.
Right.
Right. But the person who you get to know, who you get to celebrate, that's
Those
how you
milestones
create.
like you talked about. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, you wouldn't know, right, that someone in their family is graduating law school unless you were in that connection with them to know their family and celebrate holidays and things like that.
Mhm.
That's beautiful. Any other questions? All right. We're getting brave souls to speak up.
And just repeat the question.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
So
We're learning the podcast now.
what are the tasks your assistant?
So, what are the tasks that your assistant or operations handle for you?
Everything. Pretty much everything behind the scenes, anything you can think of behind the scenes,
Okay.
they're doing, right? From the formatting to the client communication, to the title communication, to the lender communication, you name it. Anything, I would say that is not directly sales related,
Yeah.
they're doing. And I think it's important because um, we're all very different in our strengths.
Yes.
My
And
strength,
personalities, right?
and so I'm very big picture. I make mistakes. I make a lot of mistakes if I'm managing paperwork and those kind of things. So I need people who are much more specific, and they've
Detailed.
followed detailed systems,
Mhm.
right? So that's where these systems came into play, is because I need structure. And so I see a big picture, and all those details are managed by my
Well, and you're
team.
solving the complex problems,
Mhm.
right? And I know people hear the word problem and think, oh, negative. And it's like, no, that's why we get paid the big bucks, right?
It's
We're coming in and, like you said, putting those puzzle pieces together. And that's what stimulates you with your personality and how you thrive. And someone
Yes.
else is a checklist,
right.
right? Making sure everything on that checklist is accomplished. And then I think that's why you're so successful, is because you can be forward facing
Mhm.
and go so deep in those relationships because, behind the scenes, you're being supported by operations, which is what they love.
Yep.
right? They love doing that and you love being forward facing.
And there's a lot of reward for both, right? You know, like I said, my team is amazing
Mhm.
and I couldn't have asked for a better team. So having that support allows me to go out and feel confident that I can
Yeah.
trust them,
Yeah,
right?
and you can
And
trust
things get
them.
done.
That's a lot
I
of
do.
trust. I know there's probably people on Zoom going, wow, I mean, I don't know if I trust people enough to leverage that. But I think, again, when you're looking for true talent, because of course, you know, when you say I'm looking for talent, it's not that you need the talent right now, it's you want your pipeline full. So when you meet someone that maybe you don't even have a position for, you can't say no to because they're just so good. They're
Yep.
so talented that you've got to find a way to fit them in your organization.
What I would say about trust, because that's super important, is there's a cost to a lack of trust. There's a
Mhm.
cost to it. You don't trust somebody, all of a sudden you have to take on all the work.
Mhm.
So imagine, and of course, I'm going off the book of a book called The Speed of Trust.
Okay.
And I believe, oh gosh, not Harry Dent, because I loved his book too. That one was, anyways, I'll have to remember it.
Yeah, we'll look it up.
We'll come back to
Put a
that.
link in the YouTube when we post.
Yeah. So Stephen R. Covey
Yes.
wrote that book. And the speed of trust is so important because it says the cost of not trusting is a lot.
Mhm.
But if you can learn to trust, things happen faster. And that movement, that relationship allows you to, it's cost effective,
Yes.
right? Because let's say you don't trust somebody enough that you have to hire an attorney. There's a cost involved,
Mhm.
right? So it talks about what that cost is. There's a cost to doing your own paperwork. Maybe you can't work with another client
Mm.
because you don't have the time.
It's like the opportunity cost in commercial, right? When you have your money over here, what are you doing over here?
Right.
So what is the value of that?
Right.
Love it. Makes sense. Well, hopefully that opens people's minds, and it's very true. I mean, you're going to end up taking that job back, and it's probably not in your strength, right, to do that
Yep.
when your strength is that relationship building.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Good. Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank
Again,
you.
we're so excited to have you back, and let's go take some market share.
Okay. Love it. Will do.